started memorizing them, started going to places to check out some open mics. I went to one so far. Gonna go to another one, may go to one tonight because it's maybe down the street, but yeah, I'm on that path, and I know I ain't the only one. And I know I haven't been the only one. I know a lot of people go this route. Everybody don't turn out to be Dave Chappelle. And guess what? There's a lot of fucking comedians right now getting paid money to do gigs, and you've never heard of them. Never heard of them. So, let this be a testament, because I'm gonna make it. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not a doubt to me anymore. I know I'm gonna make it. It's just about doing it, getting through the nerves. It's almost like, you know, when you're a young athlete, you know, you playing sports, I was 4 years old when I started. You don't really know what you can and can't do. You nervous. But shit, fuck it, I'm gonna do it. And as life goes on, there's different examples of that, where you're not too sure how you're gonna do, no matter if it's a job or whatever. But you do it. So this gonna be the same thing. I make a joke about how, this wasn't like a dream of mine. And how it sucks to be passionate about, something that you don't dream about. Because people always like to hear a good story. And this ain't gonna be something I'm gonna have a good story about as far as why I want to do comedy. I don't have a great story about it. Something I just want to do. See, I got and there's been some jokes that I had to take out of my jokes because I was like, man, I keep reading this shit, man, and it's like, what I don't want, and I'm gonna stick to this shit too now that I'm saying it out loud, I don't want no mediocre jokes. Like, I want all my shit to fucking bang. You feel me? So if I'm saying that shit and I'm keep doing it and I can't make that shit fucking bang and I don't see no potential in it, I'm deleting that shit. If it come back to me later, it come back. I think I deleted one joke 2-3 days ago. That shit kind of came back to me in a different kind of style, a different kind of way. And I wrote that shit back down and it was just different. You feel me? So yeah, when you're in your creative process, man, don't be overly critical. Just do what you know is funny, man. Like, and say that shit. That's what I like when you do, like, I do music, and I had to learn that writing music and writing to the beat is two totally different things. And the reason is if you just writing music, anybody can just write some shit down that rhymes. But if you're writing to a beat, that shit gotta go to a beat, man. You feel me? And there gotta be a rhythm and a flow to it and shit like that. And a lot of people don't like to listen to one sound always too. You like to hear different kinds of melodies and shit too. So when you write down your jokes, that shit can't go from jokes to mind. You know what I'm saying? You gotta say that shit. Actually, I had, and this is what I'm gonna still do, I'm gonna record my jokes. That way I know how long it takes. So I can also go back and listen to them too. It's just little shit like that I ain't have to, like, this is shit that you don't have to necessarily Google. This ain't nothing that, I don't think I'm actually teaching anybody new, but little shit like this, you can always learn something new. The more you research, if you're listening to me right now, you're probably researching for your career. But these are some of the basics though. This is just quality control, right? Being quality over just doing some shit. Checking your work, making sure I'm ready, making sure I'm prepared. I kid you not, man. I went to this open mic. I saw 6 comedians. I don't know how long they were doing it, but I'm pretty sure they weren't doing that shit for years. Like maybe 1 or 2, but not all of them. Nobody bombed. You know what I'm saying? Nobody bombed. And I know every crowd is different. It wasn't necessarily a crowd that would boo, but you just want to be ready. I want to make sure I'm ready. Yeah, that's. I think I'm gonna wrap it up on this. Go ahead and get the rest of this workout in. I may come back on here later record something else. But hey, if you're enjoying this, share the video. Follow the Instagram too. I'm not really sure how I'm gonna grow my page. I think I may use my personal page, Instagram, but I'm not really ready to tell anybody. So right now I'm just using the Rap With Me, my Rap With Me Instagram page, because I'm also posting this on the YouTube, and that's probably what I'm gonna use anyway. Like, y'all probably saw the podcast I got right now too. That podcast is gonna, you know what, let me just, yeah, I'm not gonna get off right now, I'm gonna keep talking. The podcast, I've been doing that for a little bit, but for like a month, but I don't, you know, I got like one episode, I think, maybe two. And then I just wanted something out there, so whenever I reach out to people, they'll have something they can listen to. Because I want to get some partners, I want to get some, you know, I want to get some guests, I want to do some collaborations with other podcasts. So I started reaching out with other podcasts, so they can kind of, you know, have something to look at. I got a couple reach backs. I know I'm going to be talking to one of them for sure, I think on Wednesday, and then probably talking to the other podcast this week too, to set something up, you know. But like, I know I don't have no doubt about if I can deliver good content on shit like that, like a podcast and shit, because that's just personality, right? That's just be yourself. Don't try too hard, just be yourself. At the end of the day, if you don't really have a personality that people like, that people that gravitates people to you, if you don't know. But yeah, so I'm gonna use that podcast to, like, what's funny is I was researching these comedians, right? Because I'm trying to figure out what everybody does, you know, like how many, like, what comedians don't really promote nothing. They just, but they still getting books. What, you know, how do comedians, you know, do their marketing and shit like that? Paid marketing or all organic? Like a lot of some comedians do a paid marketing. A lot of comedians don't necessarily. But what I noticed is like, if I go to 10 comedians pages, 7 of those 10 comedians have a podcast. Like 7 out of 10, you know what I'm saying? And I get it though. Like, the podcast is for people to keep up with your personality, to keep up with you, you know, when you're not performing necessarily, you know. And a lot of times it's like free, it's very cheap marketing, right? I wouldn't say it's free, but it's not very expensive to podcast. That's why you have so many bad podcasters out there, right? Because the low barrier of entry allows basically any Tom, Dick, and Harry to just start a podcast, right? Which saturates the industry. And that's fine, because every once in a while somebody's gonna hit and it's gonna pop and you're gonna blast off, right? But that's a lot of those podcasts don't be going nowhere. If you don't believe me, just search podcasts on YouTube and filter it by channel, and just see how many podcasts out there that are just never really started. Like, they created the channel, maybe put a couple videos out there, and then, I mean, I got 2 or 3 of them. I've done multiple podcasts in my life, so I know that it's not really, and a lot of times, a lot of people don't use it as a long game either, as far as sometimes people do podcasts never expecting to do it for 10 years. They just plan on doing it for a year or 2, but a lot of times they want to do it longer. It's hard to see the benefits of it sometimes, especially when you're not getting the views and things like that. So getting the downloads.